How then do I begin this? Well, my wife came out as a lesbian 3 years ago. We have a long history of dating. Actually, my youngest child was 10 years old and our eldest was 14 at the time. Our quality of life was good. We had steady income because my wife and I both had jobs, and I believed that made us happy. That is, until my wife sat us down one evening and told us that she wanted to be with a female coworker from her company because she was in love with her. She apologized, but she had to move on and discover her true self, which could only happen if she left her former life behind. Blah blah blah, the usual bullshit about breakups. She broke off communication and left us that day. The world crumbled for my daughters and me. I realized that I would have to care for my girls on my own from now on. Despite my protracted depressive state, I never gave up on my girls. Despite the fact that I made no effort to get in touch with my ex-wife, I was fortunate enough to find a higher-earning job that allowed me to provide for them. My girls were doing well in school, so I knew that things will be better soon. Occasionally, though, my youngest daughter asked me if I would leave them like Mom when I put them to bed. I assured her that I would never leave them, and that I love them more than anything in the world as I gave her a hug and a kiss on the forehead. Since my ex-wife was the one who instilled such emotions in her, I was furious with her. Do you think she ever came to terms with what she had done to our daughters? A few weeks ago, my daughters and I were sitting in the living room when I suggested that they write down what they wanted for Christmas because it was already the next month. Now, my youngest daughter is 13, and my eldest is 17. I wondered who it might be when the doorbell rang while they were engaged writing. I was shocked and froze as I opened the door. There she stood, my ex-wife, beaming broadly. She attempted to give me a hug and said she was glad to see me, but I declined. Then my oldest daughter approached me from behind and inquired who it was. Her attitude transformed the moment she spotted her mother. She's never looked so furious to me. My daughter shoved my ex-wife away and yelled at her to leave, saying she never wanted to see her again. My ex-wife tried to apologize and wanted to hold her. When my youngest daughter saw us, she turned around and walked to her bedroom after becoming enraged as well. My oldest then went after her to console her. She should be ashamed, based on the expression on her face. I inquired as to her desires. She claimed that she hadn't had a good year for the previous 3. She longed to see her daughters again and thought of them all the time. But she never visited for whatever reason, even though she knew she would get the same response from them. However, she surmised that she was due for this. She asked to speak with them. I informed her that while I would not force them to do anything against their will, I could offer them my condolences and allow them make their own decisions. She walked away saying it was fine. She gave me her new phone number as well. I went to my girl's room after that. In her elder sister's arms, she sobbed. What their mother told me, I told them. I informed them that they were free to meet her if they so desired. For me, it would be okay. My eldest daughter remarked that I was all they needed and that she could not forgive her for what she had done. Hearing this was amazing, truly nice. Hearing this made me very happy since I always believed that being a single parent would mean that I might never be enough for my kids. After that, my youngest daughter indicated that although she had always felt the need to see her mother, she was now beyond the idea of never wanting to see her again. About that, I texted my ex-wife. After reading it, she remained silent. She didn't give up lightly, though. My girls were playing ping-pong outdoors when she reappeared at her house. I was watching TV in the living room when I heard a lot of shouting coming from outside the house. As soon as I arrived, I witnessed my oldest daughter and my ex-wife fighting. She was yelled at by my eldest daughter, who said she didn't know what she had done to me. She was informed about my depression and all of my experiences by her. This surprised me a little as I never disclosed my melancholy or the pain I endured to my girls since I wanted them to feel safe and secure with me. She went on to express her feelings over the years, knowing that her mother had abandoned her and that she would never be able to forgive her. I gave my 13-year-old a hug and some consolation because she was crying during this. However, I also don't want to get involved because I wouldn't stop my oldest daughter from telling her mother anything in order to save my ex-wife's feelings. All in all, she also never gave a damn about how we felt. She came to hug me too after she was finished, and I informed my ex-wife that she should permanently leave us alone. We're gonna get a restraining order if she ever comes around here again. Tearful, she left. That was, however, 3 days ago, and she hasn't appeared since. I merely wish she goes away from us. My girls have made it quite apparent that they would rather not interact with her in any way. Since I don't want to go in the way of my children having a mother again, I wanted to give them the chance to see their mother one more. However, I'm relieved they denied her the opportunity. I'm not sure whether this makes me a bad person, but I also don't think my ex-wife should ever get to spend time with her daughters. So perhaps the last meeting conveyed the point. I appreciate you taking the time to read. Before you read the update, here are the most popular comments. Oh my God, Guy. She was informed of my depression as a result of what I experienced. This surprised me a little as I never disclosed my melancholy or the pain I endured to my girls since I wanted them to feel safe and secure with me. That shows how much they care about you and how much you care about them. I hope the most best for you and your queens in life. Humans are emotional people. That much is true. It's challenging to keep your emotions hidden. Even if you make an effort, your tone of voice, body language, and even your eyes reveal it. Understanding how it's all put together is fascinating. I have generally found this to be accurate. You are skilled at building walls and donning masks if you experienced abuse as a child, but everyone can tell. Many people have more than one. I don't understand why she had to leave her kids behind when she realizes she's a lesbian. How self-centered. I have no idea what connections her brain developed to get at this conclusion. Even if I'm just speculating, this didn't seem like a bad connection. Without a doubt, she could have communicated to the man her need for a space to freely dangle her toes in the lesbian pool while maintaining contact with the children. There were so many other options except becoming her new self for 3 years while ghosting the entire family. When forced to lie in the beds they have made, people become very agitated. Parenting isn't like watching a Netflix series. You can't put it on hold and pick it back up later. Edit. I appreciate all of your help. I appreciate all of your kind words, which I read in your comments. For those who are curious, yes, both my girls and I attended therapy, but I fear her abrupt arrival could undo the gains we've made. I sincerely appreciate all of your support, even though I never anticipated this to take off as it has. Thank you very much. Still, after reading over the comments a few times, I feel the need to make something clear. She's never had to hide her sexual orientation from me. I never found it offensive. She could have investigated it and yet been a devoted mother, which is why I had an issue. Although I don't think she will try anything, I will keep you informed if she does. Since this post has already received so much attention, I thought I would show it to my girls as well, since they are also grateful for your support and comments and would have likely found it otherwise. You are an incredible community, and we value you all. Now for the update. I really considered deleting this account, but because I promised to provide you an update, here I am. Fortunately, her reappearance was not at home. I consider the best approach to sum up what transpired today. Let's just say that it might possibly be a segment of one of those cliched, poorly written drama shows. When I asked my younger daughter, who had a furious expression on her face when she arrived home today, what was wrong, she began to explain. When my younger daughter left school today, that's when it all began. Normally, my ex-wife waits for her at the exit when she walks home. Not this time, though. She made an attempt to disappear, but she was unyielding and wouldn't give up easily. My daughter declined her offer of a ride home, but she persisted. She got ready to depart, but before she could, my ex-wife approached her with a proposal. She would try to explain everything to her, give her a ride home, and promise not to show up again if she still didn't want to see her. My daughter accepted, reasoning that this might be the best chance to get rid of her. This is when things become interesting. She would not take her all the way home. Instead, she would spend some time driving about the town and sharing her story. My daughter claims that after dating the coworker for a year, she broke up with her girlfriend because their interests were too dissimilar. She claimed that even though she made an effort to live her life, her girls were never far from her thoughts. She added that she doesn't communicate with people because she erases their numbers, and she thought that this would allow her and her girlfriend start over. She fell into a severe melancholy over the past 2 years, believing that her life was a complete shambles and that she couldn't survive without her babies. She would try to put things right if my daughters gave her the chance, but she could understand if they detested her. Then, my daughter asked her what would have happened if her relationship and life had been good and if she and her older sister were merely the lucky winners, essentially reading How I Met Your Mother to her. I wanted to jump in right away to say how proud I was of my daughter at that precise time. Even at 13, she possesses such maturity and intelligence. I cherish her. My daughter informed me that the ex-wife became really irate about this topic and seemingly accused me of poisoning them against her. It's funny because I never gave my daughters negative feedback about her. Naturally, I was furious for a long time, so I spoke poorly of her to my coworkers but never to my daughters because, after all, she is still my child's mother. My daughter stated that my ex-wife simply nodded before driving off when she got out of the car and declared she would never see her again. My daughter doesn't think she will follow through on her commitment, so she asked if there was anything we could do to make her stay away. My younger daughter also told her what had transpired when I called for my elder daughter. After explaining what a restraining order would entail and how it would work, I asked them if I should get one, and they agreed. Well, that's what I'm going to do. It's not like I didn't warn her, even though I am aware that some people could find it harsh. If something occurs once more, I will keep you informed. Did she remove her own children's numbers? Mother of the year, huh? With her girlfriend, she believed that this would help her begin a new life. Not only did she remove their phone numbers, but she also explained to her daughter why. This woman is just terrible. For background, her children were born in 2005 and 2009. It's not as though this is a woman who married in 1955 and fears that if people find out about her alternative lifestyle, it will destroy her children's lives. Not at all like that. She dipped, scorching the earth in her wake in addition to following her dreams. I assumed this would have taken a darker turn when I saw that the 13-year-old got into the ex's car and didn't drive her home right away. This will finally come to an end if they allow it to. Yes, that was all very funny. That manipulation of, I can't live without my baby's BS. Someone has to desire you as much as your coworker did. Why the mother had to leave the children behind to pursue her new life as a lesbian is beyond me. It makes sense that the marriage will end. That's one thing. However, that does not mean that you cease to be a parent. There's also the how. How in the world do you just walk away like that? How can being in love with someone make you happy enough to leave behind 2 children? Although it wasn't necessary, she desired to. She couldn't wait to go from their life, but most problematic parents hesitate to separate because they are worried about the children. When his friend's wife had a midlife crisis and left with a younger man, he had her leave him and their younger teenage children. After their divorce, she tried to reach out to him again, but he eventually left her and they had no communication again. The children answered no way when he asked if they wanted to talk to her. Her parents continued to be active in their grandchildren's lives and supported him as well. When he remarried a few years later, his ex-parents-in-law were among the visitors. Since his ex-wife's life fell apart after leaving such a fantastic guy, I honestly expected to read about how OP had met an incredible woman in the interim who was his real soulmate and was providing excellent support for him and his children during all of this drama. Along with asking her what would have happened if her relationship and life had been successful and if she and her older sister were just the consolation prize, my daughter practically read How I Met Your Mother. In case you missed it, the couple major characters of How I Met Your Mother got into a fight during the last season. One of them mentions how the other person had given up on them for months in an attempt to pursue their artistic ambitions. Inquiring as to whether they are the consolation prize, this character also muses over if the other person would have returned if they had fulfilled their dream. The final tale is this. I, a 28-year-old woman, am finding it difficult to help my 31-year-old brother after she cheated on him with one of my friends during a party I was hosting. As the headline suggests, last weekend we had a birthday celebration for my 27-year-old partner at our house, to which my brother and his fiancée also attended. My brother didn't drink much and departed early because he had something to accomplish the next day, but his fiancée stayed. At gatherings, we don't let anyone upstairs, but when one of our friends went upstairs to use the loo, she walked in on my brother's fiancée and another friend of mine. The friend who witnessed them claimed that they were hugging when he entered and that when they broke up, he noticed that his jeans were not buttoned. According to their account, They went up to take some coke as my friend had some and my brother's fiancée had never had any before. As they both became very high, they confessed that they had kissed and that his jeans had come undone because they intended to go farther, but she broke up with him before it could. According to both of them, nothing further occurred. Though he clearly feels deeply hurt by it all, my brother seems to be leaning towards believing her and trying to put it behind him. I find it difficult to stand with him since I believe they are telling falsehoods about the whole story. My friend who came in again agreed and believes that something else occurred, according to our conversation. In addition, he expressed his opinion that my brother's fiancée's dress appeared strange. That is, not properly put on, adjusted, or whatever, and that the entire situation had the air of something unexpected happening, if you understand what I mean. He stated he wouldn't be surprised if they just kissed, but he also doesn't want to get involved because he can't be sure for sure because he left as he opened the door. Essentially, I want to know if I should just let go and encourage my brother to keep the connection going. Though it goes without saying that the guy is no longer a buddy, I'm thinking about speaking with him to see if he will let me know if anything else happens. I may tell him that if he wants any hope of friendship with any of us, he has to reveal the truth because he's already barred from all of our pals. Do I have to participate? Though I believe my brother should know if she is lying, I still want him to be happy. In addition, she had consumed her first coke while intoxicated, but that doesn't seem to influence my assessment of her cheating. I would also appreciate advice on it. Your brother seems to be trusting his fiancée because he wants to believe her, in my opinion. She took a drug while visiting his sibling's house, entered an area that wasn't clearly defined, and ended herself in a precarious scenario. I don't believe that any substance, even if it's someone's first time, can make them cheat. Furthermore, she decided to act inappropriately against someone in their social network rather than just any random stranger. All of that is to say, I understand you want to keep your brother safe, but when someone openly states their desire to overlook the obviously troubling facts and everything else that is likely but unacknowledged, they have most likely already made up their mind. You only need to be cautious about giving away all the details and playing the victim in this situation. You don't have to like or be friends with his fiancée. It's similar to when you criticize your friend's ex after a breakup and a week later they get back together. You feel bad about all the hurtful but probably true things you said. I would take your brother's advice and investigate if he requests it. If he chooses not to and wants to forgive her, it's his decision, and I doubt that any amount of information you offer him will make him reconsider. Yes, I believe you to be correct. She's always been such a kind person, so I'm especially shocked that she would do anything like this. I appreciate the guidance. It seems like more bad things happened than they would admit, and she clearly cheated, so if I were you, I would still work to prevent them from getting married. I get the impression that your brother is experiencing a lot of emotional turmoil and is currently too hurt to end things. Continue your conversation with him, and try to get him to at least acknowledge that she cheated. I promise you that she will continue to cheat. Thank you. You are absolutely correct regarding his feelings. Though I'm not even trying to split them up, I believe he should have all the information to make an informed choice. Even if I might not like it, I will back him if he still wants to be with her, even if he learns more happened. At least he will know.